Thank you for joining us for this month's Next Level webinar. My name is Jill Johnson. I'm the CEO of the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership, and I'll be your presenter this evening. Before we get started, I just want to call your attention to a few housekeeping items. Again, I want to point your attention to the right-hand side of the screen for I see there are a few more of you who have joined us. The box second from the bottom is the question box. If you haven't done it already, just type something in the question box so that I know that you know where it is. That's how you'll be asking questions through the presentation. At the end of the presentation, I will try to get to as many questions as I can. This webinar is being recorded and will be available through the EIFL member portal on the webinar recordings page. There will also be a link to download the webinar handouts as well if you did not sign up early enough to get the handout prior to the presentation beginning. You will get it following the presentation. And for those of you not familiar with the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership, or EIFL as it's popularly known, let me just tell you a little bit about what we do. Our vision is to help people live their dreams and to create thriving communities through entrepreneurship. We help make entrepreneurial success possible for our clients by increasing their access to knowledge, networks, and capital. As a nonprofit organization, we solicit grants and contributions so that we are able to keep our costs affordable for anyone from any background at any income level who is serious about success. I encourage you to visit our website to learn more about our organization and how we can help you. I'd also like to bring attention that our sister organization, Workshop and Business Opportunities, has entrepreneurial training classes that are starting in New Jersey. We have existing classes in New York City and throughout some other cities across the country. So if you're in New Jersey and interested in learning more about our WeBo programming, please check our website. And now for our feature presentation. Welcome to Live Your Dreams Success Planning Session. Tonight, we'll be talking about how to take what you have in your head, that vision for success that you have, and how to turn that into an action plan that creates actionable steps towards success. The different steps that we'll be discussing this evening are about envisioning the future, defining your vision, understanding the challenges and roadblocks, taking an inventory of your assets, finally creating a roadmap for success, and then driving to success. Each of these steps is just so important, and I want to encourage you that if you are serious about success, there's not one single step that you can miss in this process. So pay attention and let's go through each one of the steps. If you have the handout that was sent out to anyone who had pre-registered for the webinar, please take out the handout, print it out, or have it up on your screen next to the presentation and follow along. So the first step of the process is envisioning your future. And this is more than just having some goals or having a dream and things that you see kind of in your future. This is really about envisioning your future so that you feel it, so that it drives every bone in your body. Every part of your being is driven by this vision for your future. What does success look like to you? This provides the what. Picture your business in full detail. So, what does your office look like? Is it comfy and cozy and a big desk and a big picture window overlooking the city? Is it near the beach? What does your office look like? What is your role in the company? What are you doing? What is the thing that you're doing within your company that takes advantage of your passion, your skill sets, your purpose, that really best utilizes you within your company? What does your team look like? Do you have a big team, a small team? What types of people work with you, work for you? What kind of clients and customers do you have? Picture the lifestyle that your business affords you personally. Your home, your car, your other toys, your family, your fun time. Picture the lifestyle that when you achieve business success, you will be able to have personally. For everyone, for every small business owner, business and personal are inextricably linked. What affects you at home affects your work and vice versa. So there really is no such thing as I'm going to plan for success at work and in my business, and I'm going to plan for success at home. When you try to do them separately, one often falls off and doesn't happen, and you don't think about that. So I want you to think about success in its totality, a complete picture for your success. And what does success allow you to do or have? So this provides the why. Why does this success matter? It's not just about having toys and things. And even people who want things, that usually, having things helps them to accomplish something else. It helps them to have a feeling of self-worth. It helps them to provide for a better lifestyle for their family. It's not just about the things. It's what is it that you gain as a result of your success. And, what I want to point out is that just wanting something is not usually enough to drive you to action, especially when the road is rocky. If it's just about something you want, it's no big deal to bail out. When it's a desire, a true passion, you persevere. So now I want you to take a few minutes, and I wish I had a little background music here for you, but I want you to take a few minutes to envision your future. Think about the whole picture so that you see a future with you in a fundamentally different place than you are today. A place that creates joy and happiness, a sense of fulfillment and purpose. What does your business look like? What kind of life does your business success enable you to live? Take a few minutes and jot down some notes. I want you to create that detailed picture in your mind. When you think about success, what does that look like? Write the details about your life as it looks when you have achieved this success. Again, include both business and personal. All right, you have a couple notes there? Terrific. Now we're going to take the future that you've envisioned, and we're going to start putting some definition around it. We're going to create a definition of the vision. Once we get a good picture of our future and what success looks like, we need to define the accomplishments that we must achieve to bring our vision for success to fruition. In other words, it's time to define some milestones that we have to hit. Some of you might be thinking, I need to make more money. That is what I need to accomplish. Well, it's fine to put that, but then I want you to also create bullets under that to create milestones that will lead you to making more money. So for example, my business is now generating $300,000 of revenue. It has to generate $650,000 of revenue for me to have the take-home income that I need to live the life that I want. So I want you to, it's fine to start with more general things, but then I want you to get very specific in terms of the things that you need to accomplish. Do you need to get training in something? Do you need to build a team? Is there someone you need to meet? Do you have to make more relationships? Do you need to de-stress on the personal side? Do you need to have more fun? Do you need to exercise? Use additional sheets to just brainstorm all the accomplishments that you must achieve to make your vision for success a reality. So this could take a little time. Now I want you just to jot down a couple of things. But here it's really all about the things that you need to do, what you need to accomplish. Since we don't have an unlimited supply of time, energy, and money, and we still have to live life, we're going to select the 8 accomplishments that you will achieve within the next 12 months. We're on a long-distance road trip, remember, so we can't expect that we will do everything all at once. Creating a 12-month action plan with quarterly review points is how we will keep ourselves from feeling overwhelmed. So once you do all of your brainstorming, you're going to select the 8 things and put the remaining necessary accomplishments on a separate page for planning for next year. So the first thing you're going to do is, again, brainstorm about the different accomplishments that you need to achieve toward your vision. And that will take some time, so we're not going to do all of that right now, but I want you just to jot down a few things. And then after you do that, in your workbook, there are 8 lines, so I want you to pick out the 8 that matter the most, that you can accomplish, that you will accomplish for this year, and those are the things that you're going to focus on for the next 12 months. Now, you might be asking, well, why aren't we creating a longer-term plan and 24 months and 36 months and a 5-year plan and all of this? You know, I have to be honest, I don't personally believe in that. I think that we have to plan, we have to have a vision for where we want to go, but we have to plan in the time that really matters and in the time where things are not going to be so variable. So, you know, for the next 12 months, you can create a plan, and even then, you're probably going to have to shift it and pivot from time to time. However, trying to plan 24 months out, 36 months out, you're really guessing at that point. And so really what I suggest is that you are doing your planning in 12-month intervals, and that as you accomplish things in one quarter, so you know, for the first period of the year, the first quarter of the year, that you then add on something for the first quarter of next year. So you're always really in the mode of assessing and planning, and that you always have a 12-month action plan in front of you. All right, everyone get that? So take a couple minutes just to jot down a couple of things that you need to accomplish. Once you jot down the things you need to accomplish, think about the relationship of each item to success. Why is it that you need to accomplish these things? A lot of times we get in the mode of just doing, and we never stop to think, is this really helping me to get to my goal? Is this really helping me to achieve my targets? Is this helping me to move closer to my vision for success? You know, sometimes we need to stop and reassess. Well, it's something that maybe I would like to accomplish, but it's really not necessary. It's not essential to my vision for success. And so those things, actually cross them off your list. That's why I want you to just brainstorm, use, you know, additional sheets of paper, just brainstorm, and then really cull through your entire list and figure out what things you can actually take off the list, what things you maybe can combine, and then ultimately figure out the 8 things that are going to go onto your list. So next, we're going to think about the challenges. And I don't want to say focus on, because we're listing the challenges really to get to how we will solve the challenges. So in thinking about everything that we need to accomplish, we certainly need to consider the roadblocks that might pop up. This is where most people get derailed. They think about the obstacles, both real and perceived, and they just give up. They get stuck on the challenges and they stop. So the first thing that we're going to do is to think about the challenges that might stop us, and we're going to then take each of the 8 necessary accomplishments that you came up with and think about the primary challenges or obstacles to each, and you're going to write these in the first column. So just take one of the things that you wrote on the previous list, the necessary accomplishments, and think of a challenge to that first one. So you're going to match them up line item for line item. And think about one of the potential challenges, and you're going to write that here in the first column. Okay, take a minute to write that down now. Then I want you to think about if these obstacles are real or perceived. Sometimes we come up with challenges that could be challenges, but really they're not. They're more in our head than anything else. So we want to acknowledge whether it really is something that's a potential challenge, that maybe it could exist, or does it really exist already? Learning to be honest with yourself about the true challenges that are out there and how these challenges impact your ability to succeed really is a very key part in moving forward toward your goals. So many people become obsessed, again, with the challenges and let these challenges stop them from moving forward. It's really amazing to see. So this is the part of it that I want you to spend some time thinking about. These challenges, how does each of these challenges impact your ability to succeed? Because maybe it really doesn't. And if it's a potential challenge or if it's an existing challenge. So take a few minutes to jot down some notes now. When you're doing this part of the exercise, I really want you to think about what you may be using as an excuse. So here you also may need to use additional paper to just brainstorm and then draw a line through those that are pretty much excuses or things that are not really impacting your ability to succeed. Okay, so now we're going to move on to taking an inventory of your assets. And this is something that I think is so overlooked. Now that you've identified the challenges to success, which again, that's very important to think about what your obstacles might be, you need to actually look at all the assets you have at your disposal to overcome these challenges. Think about your natural gifts, skills that you've learned, relationships you have, resources that are available, and anything else that you can use to remove or overcome barriers to success. You might need the help of friends, family, and mentors to really flesh this out. It's important here, be creative. If success was easy, everyone would be living the life that they want and would have multi-million-dollar businesses. Success often comes to those who are resourceful in thinking about how to solve challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress that enough. It's really, really important to be creative here. These challenges that exist are challenges that exist for a lot of people out there. Don't think that you're the only one that is experiencing challenges or obstacles or roadblocks. Everyone has them. The most successful people have had challenges even more so than the ones that you might be thinking of today. So it's really important to be resourceful. Think about everything you have at your disposal. And this is the part that most people forget. They're so focused on the roadblocks, on the barriers, that they don't even take time to think about, how can I solve these challenges? They don't take time to think about their unique gifts. They don't take time to think about their skills and especially relationships. There are so many people out there and so many resources that are available to you. Resources that are available to you on the personal side, and certainly resources for entrepreneurs and small business owners. There really is no excuse for not getting the help that you need in order to be successful. It's really up to you to go out there, search for them, find them, figure out the assets that are available for you in order to overcome the challenges and the barriers to your success. So yes, you need to assess the challenges, but in 2015, I want you to commit to spending a lot more time focusing on your assets, focusing on what you do have at your disposal to help you accomplish your targets. Now, this is where we start the real action planning. So, I've seen a lot of action planning or goal setting type of sheets, and they have you doing SMART goals and all these different assessments and sheets with just time frames and kind of a laundry list of to-dos. And again, I will say, I just don't believe in all of that. I think that SMART goals, now I will say that for those of you who are familiar with SMART goals, I think that that has a place in business strategic planning, and there are elements that we have discussed and that we're discussing here this evening, but action planning needs to be simple and straightforward and needs to be something that you can move through, check things off, complete things that you're doing that you need to do, and keep yourself moving forward. That's what it's all about, is continuing to move forward. Whether or not you move forward really rapidly or at a slower pace really is up to you and some of the circumstances in your life. But it's all about moving forward and not beating yourself up too much about challenges that you may be having, or the fact that you're moving forward a little bit more slowly than you would like. I'll never forget that I had a client at one point who had was saying that she was not moving forward with the business as quickly as possible. They were trying to get it launched. She had written a business plan. She and her partner were working on production, launching production, and she was beating herself up because she just felt like it was moving too slowly. And I said, well, not for nothing, but you did just have a baby. And sometimes we forget, we get so anxious and caught up in wanting everything here and now that we forget that it does take time. Many overnight successes were actually a very long time in the making. So I want you to really think about the fact that it's going to take some time. And I don't want you to beat yourself up about how much time it takes. The important part is that you have this vision, you have a passion and a purpose, all that are driving you, and every day, every week, every month, every year, you are taking steps toward that vision. And, before you know it, you'll look back and it'll seem like, wow, it just seems like yesterday. But you will have reached your objectives and your targets, and you will be living that life that you want to live. So the way that I'm suggesting that you do this is that you really think about your targets in quarters. So instead of having a long list of to-dos, we're going to create a focus list of milestones that you will work to achieve in order to meet your targets. Now notice I say targets, and I realize I slipped up a few times and said goals, but I want you to think in terms of targets rather than goals. Goals, to me, feel a bit loosey-goosey when people talk about goals. When we think of a target, laser focus comes to mind. It's something where you need complete aim, and you are firing the shots directly at that target. You're not firing around the target, you're firing directly at the target. So all of your actions and activities will be focusing and firing directly toward your targets. So we're only going to focus on 2 targets per month. Now, this is so that we can be really focused in our actions without feeling overwhelmed. Again, keep in mind, you have a life. Life happens. You have all these other things going on around you. So you're going to be accomplishing these targets in line along with all the things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Some of your targets may include the fact that you're going to stop doing certain things, as well as things that you will start doing. But here you're going to select from your list of accomplishments, the necessary accomplishments. You're going to put those in chronological order of priority, and you're going to select 2 for each quarter. And you notice here we have lines underneath the actual target, so you're going to put the target up here, what it is, and then in these rows underneath, you're going to put actual milestones that you need to accomplish in order to achieve that overall target, okay? Now again, in just focusing on 2 for the quarter, it means that when you're not living, kind of your regular life and things aren't getting in the way, that you are actually dedicating all of your time, effort, and energy just to the accomplishment of these 2 targets. See how that works? Not overwhelming. You're not trying to do 10 things. You're trying to accomplish these 2 things. And the items that you're listing under are, again, toward accomplishing those 2 things. So I don't want you to focus on, the 8 or 9 or 10 or so little things. You're going to keep your eye on those 2 main targets. And everything you're doing is focusing on those 2 targets. You have to think carefully about the order that makes sense for your list of 8 necessary accomplishments. As you accomplish each milestone, check it off as completed in the 3rd column. Checking things off gives most of us the feeling that they've had a small win. It certainly does for me. I love checking things off. Recognizing the small wins along the way is really important, and that's what helps to keep you going and keeps you thinking that you're making progress. You'll plan the next 12 months by quarter. By the end of the year, you'll see how much you've actually moved the needle. So we have a sheet for quarter 1, quarter 2, and these are targets 3 and 4. Quarter 3, targets 5 and 6. And then quarter 4, targets 7 and 8. And now if you keep doing this on a rolling basis, as we discussed just a minute ago, you would actually keep adding sheets. So it would then, after this, be 2016 Q1, and you would proceed like that. Now here's where the rubber meets the road in driving to success. The most important thing about planning is to plan and then get moving. It's unbelievable how many people spend lots of time planning and strategizing and writing things down, but then they never take action. They take a plan like this, or a big book that they read, or tapes to which they've listened, and they listen and then put them on the shelf. You'll do this exercise, you'll listen to this webinar this evening, and you'll then put it on the shelf and do nothing. This is what separates an actionable vision for your life from a mere pie-in-the-sky dream. You have to take action. And every so often, say monthly, take a look at where you are with respect to your action items. Were you too ambitious with your timing, meaning, you just had a lot of other things that were on your plate, so you need to recalibrate your timing? Did unforeseen challenges arise? Do you need to identify additional resources? Make an honest assessment of your progress. You also have to think about if each target is still important. Maybe you figured out that a course that you thought you needed to take is no longer necessary, or the person with whom you desired to get a meeting is no longer at the company. While our vision and targets may stay the same, life changes. So it's essential that you review your plan quarterly, at least quarterly. Stick with it. How many times do you see people setting all these resolutions and goals only to stop after a few months? If you have a vision for your life, that vision has to be front and center at all times. It will be all-consuming, and everything you do will be about moving you closer to your vision for success. So I want you to think about this for just a minute, taking action. And when you get off of this webinar this evening, and now's a great time actually over the holiday period for a lot of people. Things are a little bit slower. You can put on your voicemail or your email that you're going to be out of the office, so to speak, for a couple of days, and use this as a time to plan. Use this as a time when you can really dig deep and just be into yourself and your thoughts and this vision, and truly envision what it is you want for your future. And once you create this plan, I don't want you to deliberate over this. This isn't something that should take a month or so. This is something that you need to get this plan down on paper, and you need to start working the plan. It is all about taking action. Now, as you move through your journey, you will have lots of ideas and issues that will arise. Some of them will require immediate attention or action. However, the rest are merely a distraction from your vision. So, as you move through your plan, and as you keep working your plan, I want you to use sheets, the sheets in your workbook that look like this, to reassess your plan, and keep looking at the necessary accomplishments, and jotting down notes that you accomplished this, but it really didn't get you as far as you thought, and you need to do something else, or you thought this was a necessary accomplishment and it really isn't, or there's something else that's a component of it, or there's something else you may need to do as a follow-up several months later, or even the next year. So this is where you're going to really continue to assess and reflect upon the necessary accomplishments as you work through your plan. And there might be other things, as I just mentioned, that are important, interesting ideas, but that really aren't necessary or immediate, and that I want you to put them on this parking lot, idea parking lot and notes page. Many of us act as if the path to success is by coming up with more and more great ideas and thinking of backup plans. Well, more and more ideas often is a distraction, and backup plans generally end up being something that become your default when things get tough working on your plan A. You just default to plan B, fall back and say, well, it's not so bad, I have a plan B. You know what? From what I've seen of a lot of people that are successful, they really don't have a plan B. Their back is up against the wall. Now, they may be able to shift and pivot, and they create options for themselves. Having options is different than having a plan B. Options are options that will lead you to plan A or really close to it. Options are still about plan A. Plan B is actually giving up before you even started. And I want you to really think about that. I know that everyone talks about, well, you have to have a fallback plan. Well, you have to have a plan B. You know what? If you know that failure is not an option, you work that much harder to make success happen. So in this version of success planning, we're just not going to focus on plan B. We're going to focus and put our energy and attention into plan A and having options and different routes that we can take to getting ourselves to our plan A, our vision for success. Achieving the success you desire will happen when you feel your vision so strongly that it consumes your thoughts and drives your actions, that when you create a plan for getting from where you are today to where you want to go, and when you take action to work your plan. Bypassing any of these critical elements will lead to you just spinning your wheels and staying right where you are. And you'll be back at the same spot next year with the same vision, and you won't be any closer. What I want to see happen is that every quarter, each of you who's on this call today has moved one step, actually 2 steps closer to your vision for success and making success happen. So these are a few thoughts that I wanted to share with you. I hope that this discussion today has helped to open your mind to new possibilities and has gotten you thinking about your planning and your process for planning for success, and to just think about not focusing on plan B, how you're going to focus on plan A, and how you are going to keep your thoughts positive. Even in considering the challenges, you're immediately going to consider the challenges and then think about how you're going to overcome those things. And it's in overcoming those challenges that you'll be driving toward action and taking steps toward success. So again, I hope this has opened your mind to new possibilities. Make success happen. It's up to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. I will now turn to some questions. Okay, I see a question. Will we get copies of these pages? Yes, there will be copies of these pages on the Eiffel member portal. Is it possible to match first quarter projections with the roadmap without getting too confused or complicated? Yes, it absolutely is. And that's something that I do suggest. That adds another layer. But what you may want to do is to do your projections and then use that to figure out what your accomplishment targets need to be. So, for instance, oftentimes you do projections for a 36-month time period. And so you would look at, okay, in the first 12 months, this is what I need to accomplish. And in order to get me to my revenue target, I need to build a team. I need to hire some new people. I need to launch this product that's been on the shelf. I need to do these different things. And maybe it is that you need to get some training. Maybe it is on the personal side that you need to stop taking on everything yourself and you need to learn to delegate. And there's some personal things. Again, maybe even things like I need to de-stress so that way you're better able to cope with the challenges that are at work. So you would create your projection and then use that to create your targets for the 12 months. So yes, I think that is a great idea. I would do it creating the projections first. And again, even if they're not, 100% done, at least, again, order of magnitude, you're thinking of some things that you need to do. The other thing that doing your projections first can help you to understand is how much money you need to make in order to achieve the lifestyle that you want to have. So oftentimes, people say, I need to make more money. Well, they're not quite sure of how that translates into the revenue for their business, because more revenue doesn't necessarily always mean more money dropping down to the bottom line for you. So in doing your projections, it can help you to understand if you need to have a certain amount at the bottom line, you can back into what you need to be producing at the top revenue line in order to achieve your personal goals. So I hope that's helpful. Let's see. Much of this relates so much to life in general. Very helpful for self-reflection, which I think eludes many otherwise. Gung-ho and enthusiastic entrepreneurs. And I would have to completely agree with you on that, that so many people don't take the time to reflect. And it's all about wanting things. And, I want this new house, or I want to get a car. And they're not quite sure why those things drive them. And in fact, those things don't drive them, which then puts them in a place where they're not moving forward with a passion or purpose. They're just kind of hoping to get things and figuring out how to get things when it's not something that moves their spirit. So yes, I would absolutely agree that this requires a lot of self-reflection, introspection, even talking to other people and, getting some others involved, especially on the resources and the assets. The place where I would caution you to get others involved, though, is in the vision. Many times our family and friends are very well-meaning. They have good intentions. They love us. They want to help us. But, they will put into our heads negativity. They'll put into our heads, well, be realistic. Is that realistic? You know what? Anything and everything is possible if you are willing to do what is required to make it happen. And that really has to be your attitude. All of this, well, be realistic. You know what? There are a whole lot of things that people do every single day that are not realistic. So, and they're doing it. And so for you, it's not about what's realistic. It's about what's possible for you and what you are willing to make happen. So the one place I would not get other people involved really is in the envisioning process. That is all you. That's up to you. You have to do that by yourself, and you have to be driven also by what your idea of success is, because that's going to be very different from person to person, and that's very, very personal. So what you want for success can't be dictated by what someone else wants for success, even a spouse. So that part of it, you have to do that on your own. But when it comes to the assets, the inventory of your assets, that's where I suggest getting other people involved, saying to them, hey, here are some challenges. As I was doing my success planning, here are some challenges that I came up with, and what are some strategies that you might suggest that I can overcome these things? And just ask them to help you think of solutions. Don't even let them introduce into it any sort of negativity or realism, so to speak. Only solicit their input on solutions, and that's it. Let's see, we have a couple other questions here. What are your views on delegating a time or days focusing on your targets? I think that this is not about necessarily focusing days or time slots. I really believe wholeheartedly that when you are passionate about something and that this vision for your success is driving you, that it is part of every single thing that you do. You wake up thinking about it. You go to sleep thinking about it. It's infused in everything that you do. So now, to accomplish and achieve some of the milestones. Let's see. Going back here to accomplish some of these milestones. Yes, you may have to allocate time slots to getting these things done and checking them off your list. And so in that regard, that is about planning and timing and scheduling and all of that. But overall, when you're thinking about your main target, you're thinking in every waking moment with every action that you take, how is this getting me closer to my goal? So, again, there might be work events. I've had this happen to me where there are work events and, you have it on your calendar to attend and, you're stressed out about attending, and then you stop and think, why am I going to this? What difference is this going to make in anything? And so that's when you think, this isn't moving me closer to target 1 or target 2. So I'm not going to do this. Or even certain things that other people might ask you to do. And that's often where you get sidetracked, is you have other people putting things on your plate. And, you have to step back and say, yeah, you know what, we're not going to do that. We're not going to focus on that because we have these 2 targets for this quarter, and this is on what we are focused, and that's it. So if it's not moving us closer to accomplishing one of these 2 things, then we're not going to do this. So, I would say in the planning of how to accomplish your milestones, yeah, you may need to slot some time in, but I would say, again, in general, get in the habit of looking at everything you do, even down to, for those of you who are saying, hey, I want to be healthier, and for most of us, that is part of it. So it might be either losing weight, being more, gaining flexibility, lowering cholesterol, things that are very specific. Even when you eat, you're thinking about, how is this meal right now moving me closer to my target? If it isn't, then you need to change what you're eating. So again, I want you to really understand that in order for all of this to work, it does require that self-reflection, and you have to take that vision and just feel it so that it becomes part of every action that you take. And let's see. All right, I think that I've answered all of the questions. Those were some great questions. And just real quick before we end up, I always wanted to test this feature here on GoToWebinar. I'd like to do just a quick poll and have you answer. Are you living the life that you want to live? And so if you can just go to the poll and answer, just click on yes or no. Great, terrific. A few more votes coming in. All right, just 1 or 2 more of you need to vote. And the poll box is right above the questions box, at least on my screen it is. So terrific. So I see that 88% said no, 12% said yes. So that's terrific for those of you at 12%. And, I would say that in living the life that you want to live, now think about other things that you'd like to achieve. So you're living the life that you want to live, and that's terrific. Think about, use this as a guide to other things that you want to achieve, to move beyond. All right, and let's see. All right, so we'll close that poll, and what is standing between you and the life you want to live? Let's get some ideas here on what's stopping everyone from accomplishing their objectives and their targets. Great, about 45% of you have voted so far. 60. All right, terrific. So 65% of you said money, 18% education and training, 53% contacts and network. Now, nice that no one said it was their spouse, children, or family, so that's terrific. And 11% of you said you're not sure. So, one of the things that I really want everyone to think about is, for most people, everyone could use more money. right? So if you're saying that money is standing between you and the life that you want to live, let's figure out how you get the things that you need in lieu of money. So if you had the money, what is it that you would be doing? Would you be acquiring more education and training? Would you be hiring people? What is it you would be doing with that money? And then I want you to say, all right, well, I'm going to take the money off the table because maybe there are ways to get those things that you need in lieu of having the money. Because let's face it, folks, money's not dropping out of the sky. No one's going to walk over and, put a bag of money on your lap. That would be nice, but very unlikely for it to happen. And so if you continue to focus on, I need money, I need money, I need money, oftentimes that keeps you from being in a state of actually moving forward. So I want you to take the money off the table as the thing that is stopping you from accomplishing your goals. And I want you to think about what it is that you would do with money. And with that, and when you figured out the things that you would do with money, then it's those items that you're working towards, those challenges that you're working toward overcoming. On the contacts and networks, that's a place where I would say reach out to mentors, reach out to us, let us know how we can be helpful. Let us know what it is we can do to help you make introductions. And I know that for so many of us, we're actually, when we say, oh, I need to meet this person, I need to meet that person, I need an introduction, I need LinkedIn, it's fine to use those tools and resources, but there's also such a thing as just picking up the phone and calling or writing a letter and introducing yourself. Something that I've done before even is figure out where that person might be speaking and make sure you attend a place where they're speaking so that you can get an introduction before following the presentation. Get there really early even, so there might be an opportunity for you to speak to the main presenters before the event begins. So contacts and networks, that's something that is completely achievable and completely within your grasp. You just have to figure out creatively how you get there. And LinkedIn actually can be a good tool to figure out who might be able to make an introduction. But in lieu of having an introduction, just go for it. Introduce yourself. The worst thing they can say is no. And if they say no, try again, or find other connections that can help you to accomplish the same thing. Now, for those of you who said you're not sure, that's part of what this exercise is all about. Figuring out what it does take in order to accomplish your objectives and the things that you need in order to live the life that you want to live. And I would encourage you, especially again those of you who said you weren't sure about what you needed, sign up for an Experts and Answers time slot in January. And talk to us. We have these time slots so that we can help you work through your plan. We can help you think about challenges that you might be having. Just figure out the plan. So that's what we're here to do. We are happy to help you in any way that we can. So again, thank you everyone for joining us for this evening's presentation. I want to get you out of here on time. It's 9:26. If there are any further questions that you have, certainly feel free to reach out to us. And again, I would encourage you to think about signing up for an Experts and Answers time slot to continue to work through your action plan for success. Go out there and make success happen. Have a great rest of the evening and a tremendous holiday rest of the week.